You've probably seen this vegetable your entire life. In the grocery store, on a dinner plate, maybe pickled in a jar at the back of the fridge. Beetroot, dark red, earthy, unremarkable. Most people know it's supposed to be good for you. But that phrase, good for you, doesn't actually tell you anything. Good for you how? Through what process? In which part of your body? Something specific happens after beetroot enters your system, something that has nothing to do with vitamins or minerals in the way you might expect. It starts a chain reaction, one that ends inside the walls of your blood vessels. And understanding that chain changes how you see this vegetable entirely. Inside beetroot, there's a compound called dietary nitrate, written chemically as NO heights. Nitrate is not a vitamin. It's not a mineral in the traditional sense. It's an inorganic ion palm, and your body has a very specific plan for it. When you eat beetroot, nitrate is absorbed through your small intestine and enters your bloodstream within minutes. Your blood actively concentrates this nitrate trumin and delivers a portion of it back to your salivary glands. Your salivary glands release it into your mouth, back where it started, pencher, in your saliva. On the surface of your tongue live colonies of bacteria, specific species with a particular ability. They can convert nitrate into something else. Nitrite, written as NO, one oxygen atom fewer, but chemically have very different behavior. These bacteria are not invaders. They're part of your normal oral microbiome, and this conversion nitrate to nitrite is one of the things they do. You swallow. The nitrite-rich saliva travels down into your stomach. In the acidic environment of your stomach, something remarkable happens. Nitrite reacts with stomach acid and is partially converted into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, 2 atoms, written as NO, one of the most important signaling molecules in the human body. Some nitric oxide is absorbed directly through the stomach lining. More is produced as nitrite continues circulating through your blood. Enzymes inside your blood vessel walls, particularly in the endothelial cells lining every artery. Now nitric oxide has reached its target, the smooth muscle cells wrapped around your blood vessel walls. These muscle cells are always in a state of partial contraction. That tension determines how wide or narrow your vessels are. Nitric oxide diffuses directly into these smooth muscle cells. Inside, it activates an enzyme called soluble guanylate cyclase. That enzyme produces a molecule called cGMP, cyclic guanosine monophosphate, and cGMP sends a single relax. The smooth muscle releases its tension. The vessel wall expands outward. The internal diameter of the vessel increases. Blood flows through with less resistance. The pressure required to push it through drops. Your heart does less work to move the same volume of blood. This is vasodilation, and this is what beetroot's nitrate triggers through a chain that runs from vegetable to mouth to stomach to blood vessel wall. Multiple randomized controlled trials in humans have confirmed this pathway, not in animals, not in cell cultures, in people. Studies measuring blood pressure before and after beetroot juice consumption have found measurable reductions, particularly in systolic pressure, where the peak effect aligns precisely with the peak rise in plasma nitrite, the moment when nitric oxide production is highest. This is what beetroot really does to your blood vessels. It feeds a molecule that tells them to open. But there's a second part to this story. And it changes the picture in a way most people don't expect. It involves something millions of people do every single morning, something that, according to the research, may interfere with this entire process. Remember the bacteria on your tongue, the ones that convert nitrate into nitrite. They are not optional, they are essential. Without that conversion step, the nitrate from beetroot passes through your system largely unused. Nitric oxide production drops significantly. Researchers have tested this directly. In controlled studies, participants used antibacterial mouthwash before consuming beetroot juice. The mouthwash killed the nitrate-reducing bacteria on the tongue, and the result was clear. The rise in plasma nitrite was dramatically blunted. Your mouth is not just the place where food enters. It is an active part of the biochemical pathway that beetroot depends on. The tongue is not passive. The saliva is not just digestive fluid. The oral microbiome is doing metabolic work that your body relies on. If you use antibacterial mouthwash regularly, particularly before meals, you may be reducing your body's ability to convert dietary nitrate. The research doesn't say never use mouthwash, but it does suggest that the oral microbiome is worth. Two separate human studies confirmed this mouthwash-nitrate interaction. The mechanism is not theoretical. It has been observed directly in controlled conditions. Mouth, the bacteria, the nitrite, the nitric oxide, the vessel wall. Every step depends on the one before it. So what does this mean practically? The form of beetroot matters out, but perhaps less than you'd think. Beetroot juice delivers the highest concentration of dietary nitrate per serving. Whole raw beetroot contains significant nitrate, but the pathway itself doesn't change based on form. The nitrate to nitrite to nitric oxide sequence works the same way whether you eat the vegetable or drink the juice. The effects are most pronounced in people with elevated blood pressure. In people with already low blood pressure, the effect is smaller hop. Nitric oxide doesn't force vessels to a fixed width. It shifts the baseline. The body's own regulation systems remain in control. Dose matters. A single small serving may produce a modest effect. The studies showing the clearest results typically used concentrated beetroot juice. And the effect is not permanent from a single serving. Nitric oxide is short-lived. The vasodilation lasts hours. Before today, beetroot was probably just a vegetable. Something red, something earthy, something vaguely healthy. Now you know what it actually does. It delivers a specific molecule to a specific set of bacteria in your mouth. Those bacteria begin a chemical conversion. That conversion produces a gas. That gas tells your blood vessel walls to relax. A mouth, a gas, a vessel wall, a measurable change in blood pressure, all connected, all confirmed in humans. That's not a health claim. That's a mechanism. And mechanisms are what actually explain why food does what it does. There is another everyday food, one most people consume before noon, that uses a completely different pathway to alter blood flow. Not through nitric oxide, through a different molecule entirely, in a different vessel, in a different organ. That story begins with something you've probably already had today.